Waka waka waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch Transformers review, third-party Transformers review. And to the end of the table, we are taking a look at the long-awaited, for me anyway, Ocular Max PS-23 Ignis, which of course is Ocular Max's take on Autobot / Protectobot Hotspot, the team leader and part number 3 in their Maximus Pro all built-in combiner series. Now, there is quite a bit to go over today with this bot. This bot does a whole crap ton, so I did do a formal unboxing. I'll put a link in the description down below. You can check that out for the card, all the little knickknacks, everything that came in the box, plus a few surprising revelations myself when I took this thing out of the box. So I'm just going to do a very quick spin of the box before we get into the meat of the review. So on the front of the box, of course, we have a nice animation of Ignis right there, robot mode in fire truck mode. Got the kind of classic Autobot thing right there. Got the actual product right up here, robot mode in fire truck mode. He is PS-23 Ignis. He is all built in from Ocular Max Perfection series. And then on the side, of course, you have Ignis. You're never gonna forget who this is. On the other side, you have Ignis right there in the animated view. And then on the bottom, you have, of course, the team. 3 down, 2 more to go. A whole bunch of legal mumbo jumbo in another language I cannot read. And this is the Maximus Pro Defense Titan set. And if we flip them over, you do have the classic little thing that we did this on the unboxing. All his forms, the base mode, the combiner mode, the truck mode, and the rollout mode. Whole lot to go over here, and that's pretty much it for the box. So let's get a good look at that vehicle mode. And of course, it is packed in vehicle mode. He is a Mitsubishi Great Fire Engine. I'm not kidding. That's what his TF Wiki says. And I did look it up. Apparently they have great, super great. So that's apparently what he is. He is just a great fire engine. And if you watch the unboxing, you know that the first thing that astounded me was the weight on this guy. He is beefy. Like, he feels really stout and structured. So again, really solid feel right here. Now he's mostly done in a light blue plastic. That was Hotspot's color, but he does have some nice painted detail. Got the silver for the front fascia along with the black for the grill area. They of course got the emblem there done in silver. You do get some kind of goldish yellow, urine yellow for the running lights. Again, some red down here and some orange for the turn signals. You got black for all the windows. We do have the kind of the railing detail done in there as well. 3 windshield wipers detailed in there as well. They are molded in, and then of course you have the side mirrors done in a nice rubber, but they do hold their place and shape quite well. Little Hotspot decal on the front door, even some door detail right here, and then of course you got the nice silver for the horns. The lights are done in a red clear plastic. They look really good. This is a really premium light, and then it also got the silver on the base. Move to the side of the truck, you can see all the little gauges and detailing. Got the hose right here done in a nice, it's kind of got a ribbed feel to it, done nice white. You got some hinge detail right here. It doesn't look too out of place though. Then of course got silver for the gauges. You got some like silver detail, like kind of bolting detail right here. Red right along here. You got all little levers and whatnot done in the silver. Silver for the railing, and a nice charcoal plastic for the utility cabinet in back. Done black right along here, kind of resembling some utility cabinets. And you got some orange detail on the running lights. I got a little bit of paint scrapage, not too terrible. There's a lot going on with this guy. And if you look at the bottom, he is pretty much tucked away. Can't even tell there's a robot in there. It's really, really good. Looking at squeeze that in back there. But overall, again, hides the robot really, really well. I do like that quite a lot. The wheels are done in a nice silver with rubber tires, and he will roll like a champ, which is more than I could say for his comrades, which haven't rolled too well up to this point. And he does have quite a few gimmicks going for him. Now the ladder is the big thing. That can raise up. You can actually de-extend and extend. The ladder just has one rung in it. I'm not mad about it. Again, I didn't even expect this. And the ladder will rotate all the way around as well. It goes high too. It goes like about 10 inches high, so it's got some length to it. Speaking of lengths real quick, I just want to give you a scale measurement as well, and he is roughly 11 inches long. So there we go, from stem to stern. And of course, since all fire trucks need to have some stability, you can actually stabilize this guy. Now there are some ribs here to get your fingers around, but of course even the video recommends just pulling down. These don't really work too well, and they are on both sides and you could just have them stabilized in the back there, and you could have the ladder going every which way just like that. And that is really cool. Again, I didn't even expect them to do this, and they knocked it out of the park. Additionally, now he can, of course, does have some accessories that can store in the vehicle mode. He does come with his cannons. They are done in a nice black plastic. They got some molded detail on the barrel here and towards the tip of the gun. Just some nice kind of black inserted detail. And he does, by the way, come with 2 of them. I lost track of where the other one was, and again, they are both completely identical. And then, of course, he comes with an arm just like this. He comes with 2 of these as well, and they're just molded in black plastic. They kind of got a hose front, all bunch of extruded detail around it. It does articulate at a hinge right here, and then you can rotate it as well. And these can actually mount to the robot mode. So first thing you want to do is you have a port right here, and it's going to go attached right here, and then you have a little tab right here, and it's going to go into a port right here on the arm. So what you want to do is you want to just kind of attach it right here, and you can kind of bring this in just like this. And same thing for the other gun. You're going to bring this in just like, oh, find my ports, finding the ports, and you can just lock that in just like that. And then you have a tab right here on the gun, and that's going to go right into a tab slot right here on the fire truck. Same thing for the other side. It's going to tab that right in there just like that. And you know, I will say this, and you know how I feel about weapon storage in vehicle mode, and yes, this looks ridiculous, but I don't think it's too intrusive. It does add some weight to it, by the way. It kind of gives them an artillery kind of look, and I do really like that quite so. If you want, you could use the transformation joint and kind of raise it up, and you know, give it like some blast cannons, so you can, you know, I guess if you don't like what the fire's doing to the building, you can just destroy the building up. But yeah, so you got some weapon storage in vehicle mode. And no, this accessory does not come with him, but just because you can, I do want to show it, and I do show this in my short. You can use the MP-33 water effect, and it's not a firm connection. It'll probably last for a couple pictures. It's going to make a liar of me, but see, it's not a firm connection, but you can, of course, use MP-33's little water effect right there, and just kind of make it look like he's shooting water. It will, yeah, I'm not even going to get to try. So, but yeah, so that is pretty much it for the vehicle mode. And before we move on, we'll do a couple comparisons. So first things first, let's get him in there with a Takara bot and his brother in arms. So bring in MP-33 Inferno, and they're both Mitsubishi fire trucks, so you can see how those look together. And of course, Hotspot doing a lot more than Inferno, but of course, Hotspot is probably like a full inch longer, so you can see how they look together. And then of course we're going to bring in his other Ocular Max combiner buddy for the Decepticon side. We'll bring in their Incursus, or their Onslaught right there, so you can see how they look together. And of course, Onslaught looking quite a bit longer than Mr. Ignis, of course, and we'll get Onslaught out there. And lastly but not leastly, let's get the whole crew rolling. That's right, we got the emergency services, and we got the police force out there. 3 down, 2 to go, and they look great together. There he is, of course, with Medicus and Navigant, aka First Aid and Streetwise. And yeah, this crew is shaping up really nicely. I am really impressed with that. And that is going to be just about it for the vehicle mode. I told you we had a lot to go over. So we're going to start off and get him transforming up into his first alternate form, which of course is his base mode, or his temporary repair bay mode. And you guys kind of already know how I feel about this. Don't really care. This is the last time it's ever going to be in repair bay mode. And if you tell me that I'm a stick in the mud, I will say this: the instructions to get him into this mode are not very clear, and if you watch the video, it doesn't even go into base mode. So I'm going to be kind of making a few assumptions in here the best I can, but we're going to get through it, and either way we'll get to see what it's all about. So first thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to kind of free something up. So what we want to do is we're going to open up this here, just just tabs into 2 tabs right here. Open this up right here, and pay attention to this because we're going to need to rotate this just a little bit. And what we want to do is we just want to move it up. It's moving on a hinge right here, and as you move this, it's going to kind of push down just like that. FYI, when you're going back into truck mode, you want to make sure that this is all the way down, because otherwise this panel won't go into a tab right here. And then you're just going to bring this over, and you can just fold it up just like this, excuse me, on this hinge, and then fold it over on this hinge right here just like that. Leave that how it is. And then what we can do is we can open this up at the front and just kind of close these because they like to come apart. Bring the front of the truck down just like this on this hinge right here. It'll come all the way down. Rotate it. I gotta raise the camera so we can see what we're doing. And you're gonna rotate it up just like that. Let me bring this forward, and that's going to be left just like that. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do that off camera. So now I got them sitting like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this up, and this is where the instructions are kind of not clear. So you have 2 tabs right here, and you have 2, it's hard to see, but there's 2 tabs right on here. So you're going to bring this up just like this and just kind of tab it in as best you can, and then you can move this up just like this on this slider real quick, and then kind of bring this up and just set it just like that. So that's gonna be sitting just like that. Then what we want to do is we can start to split what will be the legs, and you can just rotate it out on this hinge right here, and then you can bring it up on this hinge right here just like that as far as it'll go. And what you want to do is you want to rotate it so the tire is up just like that. It's going to be the same thing on this side. I'll do it off camera. We'll be right back. And the last step we want to do is we want to take his chest plate, bring it down just like this, and while we're doing that, you can take these 2 top panels, just kind of bring them out just like this to kind of get in there, and you just pull these out just like this. And it's kind of on a double hinge. You got a hinge right here and a hinge right up here. You just want to kind of get it level. It just kind of sits there. It doesn't really tab in. Nothing really tabs in the top. Even the fire engine pieces don't tab in. This is a very loose setup. And yeah, there it is. And of course, he does require his little arms right here, and you do have the ports right here. They're going to go into circular ports right here on the fire engine as well. And then of course you put one on the other side as well, just like that. I forgot they do, by the way, I forgot to say they do have a hinge right down here as well. And then of course you can put the guns, and the guns are going to mount on this. They have this slider right here, and they're just going to go right into here. It's just going to sit right on the base of the stabilizers on either side. And yeah, he is a fortified repair bay, and I'm not even sure if the leg should be orientated a certain way. Again, the instructions weren't very clear on that, but there he is nonetheless. And yeah, I'm sure this is a homage to to something from the G1 toy, but again, it is what it is, and it looks okay. For the articulation, you do have you can rotate the little things right here. It's kind of a tight rotation because it's just dependent on this peg, and you can move this armature. You can move this armature on either one, and again, this does, of course, it can swivel right along here. The end will swivel. And I guess if you want, you can activate the shoulder joint or the waist rotation to make him move and stuff, I guess. But yeah, not really much else for this. I can tell you this is probably the last time I'm ever gonna have it in this mode. So let's move on to our next transformation. All right, so let's get him transformed up into his robot mode. And overall, this is a fun little transformation. In fact, all these transformations are pretty fun and enjoyable. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring this back here. We're going to bring it out. And what we want to do is we kind of want to lift up on the ladder. And we're just going to bring the whole ladder and bring it in like this. And then what we want to do is we want to lift it up on these 2 hinges right here. Because we're going to move. We're just going to kind of get this little piece brought through just like that. And now we can fold the whole ladder in, and you want to bring this piece down just like this. And now what we can do is we can rotate it in. You're just going to bring it through here, and then you can bring it up and just kind of tuck this around just like that, and leave this like that for now. Just kind of bring it down just like this. Next, what we want to do is we want to rotate this whole assembly. Getting in cursus vibes here, are we? And we're just going to bring this down. We just want to bring this whole front plate down just like this. Just leave it right down for that. And you know, so we got Maximus Pro's head right there, and we're just going to rotate it around just like this. And there we go. And then of course we have Ignis's head. We're going to rotate this down in this hinge just like this, and then we can close up the head, rotate it back around. There we go. And then we can bring up this right here, and then you could just rotate everything, just kind of leave this as one cohesive piece just like this. And there we have Ignis's head. And then we could just take this up, and we're going to bring this up just like this. And you got these two tabs right here. They're going to go into two slots right along here. And that should lock in. And then you got two little slots right here. You got a tab, and you're just going to kind of make it go. It's kind of a pain in the butt. There we go. Lock it in. Same thing for this side. Just kind of push down and lock that in. And then what you want to do is you got these two chest plates here. You're just going to kind of raise his chest. There we go. You just it's kind of, there we go. Just kind of raise these up, and you got these two little tabs right here. They're going to lock in right here. And that's basically, I got this popped out, and that's basically his whole chest area done. And we're going to move on to the legs next. So we're going to work on the legs next, and we're going to look at his gentleman's area real quick. And the first thing we want to do is just kind of rotate this down just like this, and then we could rotate this on this hinge. And for the base mode, I'm not sure if this actually is the way that it should be facing, but either way, nevertheless. And you're just going to bring everything down on this hinge right here. Next, what we want to do is we just want to kind of bend this back just enough to where we can see this tab. We're going to pop this open. This is what this is doing, is it's locking up another hinge that's right in here. And once you get that straight, we can close this up and just tab it right back in just like that. Straighten this out, and this is the way you want this circle with these two rectangular bars for the leg to be facing. Then you can open this up. You want to fold this tab in right here. You have the foot right in here, and what you want to do is you have a little piece right here that likes to there we go. You just want to bring this out just like this. You can bring this down, just kind of, it's a very loose tab connection, and just bring the foot back up, and there you have a leg all done. I'm going to do the other side off camera, and we'll be right back. So let's get an arm deployed, and you're just going to kind of rotate. You can kind of bring it out just a little bit right here and just rotate it around this hinge right here. Next, what you want to do is you want to do what tried to get undone before. You're just going to open up this panel right here, and you can kind of move this little piece out of the way. It is just designed to kind of get out of your way should you need it. And then what you can do is you can kind of pull up. Try and make it easier to see. Just kind of pull this, kind of comes up on this hinge right here, and you can kind of make this whole back end come up. You want to take this panel, fold it in like that. It's with this little spot, and then you can fold this panel in right here just like that. So you got this going on. Then what you want to do is you can bring this down, rotate this out, and you can open up this panel right here and bring it. You want to rotate it all the way around. You got a little tab that's going to go into a slot right back here. You just bring that around just like that. Next, what we want to do is you can bring this in like this and leave this like this, or excuse me, leave that like that, excuse me, and you can kind of bring this back just like this. So basically this whole emblem right here is going to be flush. Next, what you want to do is you can bring this back in together like this, and you're just going to re-tab all of this in, and you can close this up right here, so it should be looking like that. And the last thing you're going to do is you can open this whole panel up. You see you got his hand in there. You're just going to rotate it down and just close it right back up. And you can just rotate the wrist just like that. And there we have an arm all done. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do it off camera. And one final step I did forget is you have this little piece right here. You can just kind of fold this up. That'll kind of enable the rotation right down here. And then the last step, of course, is to pull out his little ears, his little antennae, and like magic, there we have Ocular Max Ignis, or rather Mr. Hotspot in his robot mode. And yeah, let's take a good look at him because he looks great. Again, big, massive, beefy sculpt, just the way I'd expect him to look from the animation model. He's a beefy, he's kind of a brick of a dude, and again, still got that good solid weight. You have, of course, the chest done in a very nice red, of course, done. You got some ribbed features right here, and they got some silver paint over extruded detailing, got some venting detail right here. The head, very nice. You got kind of a painted, deeper blue for the head, nice red eyes for the rest, for the they're kind of painted in there, and they got some molded detail for his little antennae, and then he got the rest of his helmet. Oh yeah, the ears do push in quite easy. They don't really lock, but other than that, they hold in quite well if you're not pushing on them. Other than that, his head is done in a very nice eggshell blue. You got some venting molded detail on the arms right there. I mean, there isn't many animation shots of Hotspot to go off of, so they did a good job given what you're seeing. Again, you got some detail right down here on the wrist. Same thing with the shoulders, done very nice. Big burly shoulders. Then of course the back cleans up. Chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Again, the ladder just hides away. Taking a note out of the Takara playbook. Again, the very minimal backpack right here. Given all this guy does, legs are super clean across the back. You got that corrugated metal detailing. Of course, again, the black detailing we saw in vehicle mode. Again, the black plastic down here for the thigh area. And if we move around to the front of the thighs, they got some venting right down here, a little bit of silver paint right here, and then of course you have the detailing right down here, and of course his little feet. And yeah, the overall just really solidly built, really good feeling. As far as articulation goes, the head can look up the slightest. It can look basically straight on. It'll rotate all the way around if you so desire. The arms do rotate all the way around. You got to kind of watch it with these two back panels right here, but they will rotate all around. You can get a wide range all the way up as you push his ear in just like that. But again, he does have a bicep, so really nice. I love the way the arms work as well. You got the bicep swivel though. You do have a double jointed elbow for the full on, yeah. And then of course you can bring it down. You got wrist rotation. You do have fully posable fingers. You have the thumb on a hinge and a rotation, and then of course you have a base hinge for the fingers. You have a secondary hinge and a tertiary hinge right there at the fingertip for a ton of articulation of the hands. Moving out, you have waist rotation. You have a massive ab crunch. Look at that on a nice clickety clackety ratchet. You can move out the little waist panels. They do tap in, by the way, very securely. You can bring this up for a fusion kick. Look at that. You can bring it back for a fusion back kick. Look at that. And you can bring it out the side for a fusion side kick. All the fusion kicks all on a clickety clackety ratchet. You do have just under 90 at the knee. You do have a thigh swivel from a cut joint. And as far as the toe goes, you do have kind of a toe tilt, and you do have a little ankle tilt right here, all done as little planks for feet. But again, he's got these massive brakes. So these panels do like to push in, by the way, when you're articulating. If he's just kind of tab them right back out, they're not the most solid tab connection, but that's pretty much it for his articulation. And again, this guy just does it all, especially considering everything else that he does. We'll talk about his accessories, and lo and behold, it's nothing new. And you do have his guns right here. You can just kind of pull on this hinge right here. And you notice you got two barrels right here. It works similarly to Incursus's rifle, and you just kind of pull this down, and this will get you the robot mode handle. And of course, it does have a little tab right here, and you do got the little slot right back here. I think it will tab right into this slot as well here too, but I believe this is the correct way to do it, so we're just gonna do it just like that, get it in there, and he'll hold that just fine. Of course, he's got 2 guns, 1 for each of you, so we can give him both his weapons, and they do slot nicely into both his big burly hands just like that. And yeah, that is pretty much it for his robot mode accessories, but this is not cartoon accurate at all. But you can actually take these, and you can see the ports for his base mode are still available, and you can kind of give him some like kind of tentacle arms or whatever, some additional support for like shoulder cannons or whatever. And quite frankly, this is how I'm gonna display mine. Again, you'll see it in the short. I have this guy in a few crazy poses, but I'm actually gonna display it with these. Cartoon accuracy be damned. I kind of think this looks pretty cool with these extra armatures on there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for his robot mode accessories. Just about what he needs. And we'll do some comparisons. So we'll bring in, of course, his brother in arms and fellow firefighter, Mr. MP-33, and he just towers over MP-33. In fact, Mr. Ignis is about 11 inches tall. He is a very big and beefy boy, so you can see how the 2 firefighters of the Autobot team work together, and we'll get him off the table. We'll bring in, of course, Mr. Incursus, aka Onslaught, so you can see how the pair works together, the 2 core bots of the Ocular Max combiners. And straight away, you can see Ocular Max has definitely learned from their past experiences. And while I don't mind Incursus's proportions, you can see that Ignis definitely looks more well distributed in terms of his body mass. So there we go for that. And the last but not least, let's get the whole team going. Let's bring in Medicus. Let's bring in Navigant, so we can see how the Ocular Max Protectobots are turning out. The dad and his 2 kids. And I think this set is just great overall. Each one of these bots has been a joy to flip back and forth. They're fun to articulate. They're good looking. Again, I really am digging this set, and I think we're going to have a great run to the finish. All right, it's time to get him transformed up into his final mode, his combined mode, and I'll be straight away. This is by far the this is the transformation with the most meat to it, so let's get right into it. So start off with the easy step first. You're just going to take his ears, push them back in just like that. We could then, of course, dismount his chest from the front. You can just push everything back in here, and of course, you can push in on these 2 areas as well, push those, and you can just leave this out just for a little bit. Just kind of leave that out there, and then we can turn them around, and what we're going to do is we can move the arms out of the way, and we're just going to take off these panels right here, just unplug them. Same thing for the other side, just kind of undoing what we did to get into robot mode. Bring this down real quick, and then we can move the arms out of the way yet again. Actually, probably move up like this, and what we want to do is we just want to bring up the combiner head, make sure the chest is out of the way, and bring up the combiner head, roll everything around just like this. And then what we can do is we can separate this chest plate here from the head, just kind of leave this out over here in space. And what we want to do is we want to turn the head around just like this, open up the combiner head, and then you could flip the robot head in like this, and then we can turn the combiner head back around like that. And that's gonna be it for the first step. We're gonna move on to the arms next. Okay, so we're gonna work on his arms next, and you wanna make sure his hands are back in fists, and you're just gonna fold them so the back of the knuckles facing upward towards the chest, and you're gonna open this up as though you're transforming him back into a fire truck, and just fold this in just like that. You wanna turn this way so this little slot right here is facing towards the chest. Next up, you're going to open up this whole assembly back here, and you can open up this whole assembly back here, and we're going to unfold out the combiner slot just like that on this ratchet. And then what we want to do is move this up, because we're going to untab this right here, roll it back around, and we're just going to tab it right back into here, just like we're going back into truck mode. Bring this down, push this in all the way just like this, and then what we could do is we can bring this, open the fire truck front up, fold this in, and bring this around just like this, and it's going to kind of tab in right up there. And you can just leave this hanging back here for now if you want. You can kind of work it upwards just like this. Make sure this double hinge is showing. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll do it off camera. So now we got them looking like this, and you're going to push up, or pull up I should say. You just kind of want to raise them on these 4 little rails right here, and when you're doing that, you can kind of make sure these are in all that. You can bring up the little, what will be his new abdomen area. And then what we're going to do is, you notice you have a tab right here. It's going to go into a slot right here, and you can just tab that in, and then you have the little slot right here. It's going to come around to this tab right here. So kind of bring this in, and we want to tab it in up here and then lock it in down here. And it has one more locking point. So we're going to go in back, and you can see you have this little lever, and you're just going to push this up. As you're pushing up, kind of push in on the wrist, and you can lock it in just like that. And it's going to be the same thing on the other side. So we are going to lock this in up here, lock this in down here, push in on the wrist, because we're going to bring this up right here. Didn't entirely lock in. There we go. And there we go. So you can push in and forward up on the wrist, and that's locked in. So now make sure these are out of your way. And we're going to go back to the front rear quick. I apologize. Make sure this blue part is level. We're going to bring down the chest plate, and you have 2 tabs right on here. It's going to go into 2 slots right here. Make sure the upper chest is level. And there we go. And you can just kind of bring these pieces out. They will fit over the front tire, or the front tires. And that is it for the chest. And then what you have on the back piece here, you have 4 little tabs. You're going to bring these up right here. Same thing on the other side. Bring these up right here, just like this. And you got to move these out of the way as best you can. And this is going to tab in the same way it did in robot mode. So we're going to bring this up and just kind of tab it in just like we're going into robot mode. Well, we are going into another robot mode. And push these in all the way. Make sure your tabs are up. The next step, you're going to bring these back on this double hinge, and you're going to put this little port right here. It's going to go over the light. This tab right here is going to go over this tab up here, and this tab right here is going to go over this tab right here. You have to push this in all the way. Now, I'm not going to tab mine in all the way because, as you can see, I kind of scratched my light, so I'm just going to get it as firm as I can. So bring it in on this double hinge, and then it's going to come in on this secondary hinge here. Oh, and before we do that, bring this down, pull this in, and then just kind of fold this in just like that. That'll cover up the back, so my apologies. And bring this in just like that. And you can see it's covering up the back. It's right over that tab right there, and that's about as comfortable as I'm going to get. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. I'll do it off camera before we move on. So it's time to work on his gentleman's area a bit before we move down to the legs entirely. So what we're going to do is you can kind of open up the legs, and you can pull down on this piece and just kind of bring it out all the way to give him something interesting going on, I guess. And then you could fold up on the side pads, and you're just going to bring this around just like this. Same thing for the other side. Pull this up, bring this around just like this. And then this is going to all come back on this hinge right here. So bring this all the way back, rotate this all the way around. You just kind of want to leave these out, and then you could bring this down right here. And real quick, you have 2 tabs right up here. They're going to go into 2 tabs right down here. So bring this down, lock it in, and then you have a slot right there. It's going to go to a tab right there. Make sure that this is all the way vertical, and just tab those in right like there. You can leave these open for now, and you can just leave this out, and we'll move on to the legs. All right, so we're going to separate the legs into 2 sections, the upper calf area and the feet. So what we're going to do, or the thigh area, excuse me, we're going to bring this all the way out. We're going to rotate this down, and what we're going for is we want this grilled area just kind of facing forward, and then from there we can kind of bring this down on this hinge right down here. Leave this leg out of the way to give us as much room as possible, and just bring this down. You notice we have a lock right here, a lock right down here, you have a lock right here, and a lock right in here. You're gonna need a spudger, but we're gonna undo all of these. So just kind of bring this in, and this is probably the most one of the sketchier parts of the transformation. Not hard, just kind of, I don't know. I feel like there should have been a better method for doing this, but you know, Ocular Max knows what they're doing. So In Ocular Max we trust. And so we got all those unlocked. And next what we want to do is we want to do a little bit more prep work. We're going to bring the toe down. We're going to open up this panel, fold this out, and then we can come back here, open up this panel and bring this out, and we can fold this in as well. And then what we want to do is we want to fold the foot back just like this. Just kind of tuck it up against there, and we can start rotating this. Oh, how did this get close? Rotating this whole section all the way around, rotating it at this hinge just to make sure all of this is turning. The foot should be going back in, and it's just going to kind of lock in place, and you'll kind of feel it. And once it's like that, we're going to close up this panel right here, and we can start locking everything in just like that, at least down here. So lock these in down here. And the last step is we're going to kind of, this panel, this upper leg is going to come in here on this double hinge. So we're just going to kind of bring it down just like this. Bring it down, and it should lock. There we go. It should snap in place just like that. And you just kind of want to position it because there's a hole right in here, and that's where these locks are going to go. So if the locks aren't going in, that means you aren't in line with that hole. There you go for that. And then you have two tabs right down here. They're going to lock into a tab right here. So push that in just like that, some extra locking and support, and then close this up just like this. And that is basically one upper leg all done. It's going to be the same thing on the other side. So now we got him basically looking like this. And before we move on, we're just going to finish up his gentleman's area. Now you have a little panel in here. Just kind of bring it out. You got a little tab right here to kind of help you. You notice this folds out a tab, and this tab is going to go right into there, right dead center. I know this is kind of disturbing, but we're going to bring this in just like this. And yeah, we're basically, I guess we're kind of extending his crotch just a bit, and that'll lock in just like that. And then we could bring the legs down straight, and we could fold these in just like this. They'll kind of snap into place. And lastly but not leastly, we could bring these two panels up just like this to finish his midsection. And there we go for that. And let's get on to the feet. All right, so the last step is to finish up the feet. So we're going to rotate this lower leg down on this hinge here, and then we're going to rotate the whole foot out on this hinge right here. Next, what we can do is we can open up the feet, and you can bring out the little toe panel, and you just want to rotate this all around just like this, basically 180. Next, you have a little tab here, and again, this is hard to show because it's all black. And what you want to do is you just kind of want to pull the foot up on this. You have like an assembly in here, and you just kind of want to bring it out. It kind of resides inside the foot there. And then you can rotate the whole foot around just like this. You have two little tabs right on either side, and they're going to go in to a little slot right there. Same thing on right on the other side. Just going to bring that in. And then you have a little combiner peg right down here. You're going to... It's this little assembly piece. You're going to bring this forward, and then this little tab right here, you're going to bring this down, and you are going to lock this in just like that. And now we're ready to finish the feet. So bring these out and back, and you can bring up the foot, bring the toe piece down, and there is it for the toe. And the last few steps are you going to take these panels. You want to bring them at kind of a four, actually bring them out real quick so you can show. So what we're trying to show here is you want to fold out this panel right here. And in here you have a lock, and it's kind of hard to show. And that's going to kind of lock everything in place and make it more rigid. Same thing for the other one. Bring this out, and then you have this lock. And you can see that. And we're going to bring the feet down. You want this at a 45. Same thing for the other side, and they're going to lock in right on the back right here. Just like that. And there we, knocked the camera. And there we basically have a foot all done. And I'm going to do the other one off camera, and that will finish up the transformation. And there you have both feet fully deployed. And he is quite a tall boy, standing at the full 17 inches tall. Now, I should mention this is a bit taller than my camera can actually fully reach. And he isn't really all that rigid without the carbots in place anyway. I'm going to save that for the combine video. But I am going to tuck the feet up and back in behind the lower legs. And then we'll take a look at him in his combine mode in just a bit. And he has his reduced legs again. So let's get in on the parts that we really want to focus on. So the head, of course, the eyes done in a very nice metallic blue. I love the kind of shine these have. And you got the face done in gray. Love the facial expression, very natural, neutral mouth expression. Got some geometrical shapes for the nose and this little chin piece here. The helmet is done in black plastic, the most minimum of molded detail, and you got the prongs on either side. And then if we move on to the chest, you can see a whole ton of molded detail in the chest and the abdomen area. Looks really, really good. You got some conduits painted in silver. Same thing, these grill pieces right here done in silver. On the sides, you see the combiner pack, everything kind of hidden away very nicely. And then, of course, the fire engine piece kind of hanging out there, giving a little gateway as to what he used to be. And then, of course, we move on. Again, there was a lot of work to his gentleman's area, but you can see it kind of gives the illusion of his midsection being extended. And, of course, you got some molded detail right here on conduits painted in silver as well. The legs, of course, very clean. And if we move to the back, you can see very clean along the backpack and the back of the legs. Again, clean as well. Again, very nicely put. Not even much of a backpack at all on him. And we can back this guy off because we can, of course, bring in his weapons, which do function in combiner mode. And you're just going to bring down this peg right here. And this is the combiner handle. Of course, both guns do have that feature as well. So that's for your combiner. But if you don't want him holding the guns, which you can't even hold the guns anyway, use this tab right here. And what you can do is you can bring him around like this. And you got a little slot right in here. Same thing for the other gun. You can just plug those in right to his back. And again, that looks really, really cool. It kind of has the Bruticus feel. As far as his other accessories though, he comes with another facial expression. And of course, this one's got the screaming face done in the black. Again, I love the mouth expression. And how you change this out is you're just going to take his head. You got to kind of open it a bit to get some leverage. And then you just kind of want to pull on the bottom and just kind of pull it out. It just kind of press fits in there, and then you can just press fit the new face in as well. And you can close up the head, and there you go for that, and that gets them all set. But we're gonna back him off because I'm not sure if this is an exclusive with this release or not, but he does come with an alternate head as well. And I think this is supposed to be his more cartoon accurate head. It's kind of got a more boxy feel to it. But again, you can see he's got the molded detail on the side, same gray face sculpt, same metallic blue for the eyes, got the neutral face sculpt. And how that works is you're gonna open this up and you can see that there's two kind of slots in here. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna open up the head just like this, and you can just pull up on the head. It just slides off these little locks right here. And you can take the alternate head, put this on just like this, and you can close it up just like that. And there he is with his alternate head, or I guess his more cartoon accurate head if you want that. But there you go. And that's going to be about it for his accessories. We're going to hold off on the articulation to have something to do for the combine mode video. But overall, that's going to be pretty much it for his combine mode. Again, it looks really good. And one thing I forgot to point out is he does come with an alternate screaming face sculpt for the alternate head. And again, you can see it's done very similarly. Now, I do want to point out that this face sculpt will not work on the standard head. You can see the designs in the various face sculpts. They just don't even have the same fit in shape. So again, you have one screaming face for the alternate head and a screaming face for the standard head, and then a standard face for the standard head, standard for the alternate. And there we go for that. And let's summarize an Ocular Max Ignis, and I will cut to the chase with this one. It's a phenomenal figure. this is quite frankly the best Ocular Max figure I have ever had the pleasure of handling. It's got all the key ingredients of the Ocular Max, the build, the intuitive transformation, the articulation, and it does all of this, maintains all of this while still pulling off 4 different modes. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Ocular Max is a brand that may not lack the final finish or the poshness of a Fans Toys or Next Transbots, but I'll be damned if it can't go toe-to-toe with any one of these companies day to day on design and build technique. They definitely got that magic. And that being said, I do highly recommend this figure. If you want one of your own, I'll put a link in the description to Big Bad Toy Store or Chosen Prime, wherever I still see it in stock when I'm putting this video up. And that's going to be about it. So you guys know what to do at this point. If you found this video fun and informative, let me know by hitting that like button down below. That helps me out and I do greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I ask you to consider subscribing. I do Transformers reviews regularly of both the official and the third-party variety. You can check out my various playlists. I'll put a specific link to the Maximus Pro playlist in the description below, so you can check out my other 2 videos on that. And that will be about it for tonight. I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.